The week the loser taught history. In 1969, I was 14 years old, and it was that year that I first published anything, and for me, it was in a big way. For our township paper, the Bridgeport Future, I wrote the entire 16-page first anniversary issue, a complete history of Bridgeport Township, and after that, I wrote a weekly historical column for them. Well, it was also in 1969 that I put on a week-long display of artifacts and relics pertaining to the history of the township. I'm not telling you these things to make myself sound like I did something great and bragging. No, that's not the case. Quite the contrary, actually. I needed to tell you these things, though, as a setup for what I really wanted to share with you on this video. One would have thought, by all of this, that I was a very good student. Truth be told, though, I was a horrible student who slept his way through many classes. And my grades were always at the lower end of the spectrum, and I am still greatly surprised that I graduated at all. Someone had pity on me, and I made it. Prior to the historical display I mentioned, the junior high school principal, Mrs. Solderman, called me into her office with a special proposal. It really could have floored me, actually, and my head was already somewhat swollen by being published as well as other things in the works. I didn't realize it at the time, of course, but it probably would not have been mattered anyways. I probably would have done it without even thinking about it. Mrs. Solderman asked me if I thought I could come up with enough material to teach an hour class on Bridgeport history 3 times a week for a couple of weeks. In return, I would receive much-needed extra credit points. Like a fool, I jumped at the deal with no idea whatsoever as to how to teach a class. Plus, the fact that my big head had alienated most of my peers, so I should have realized I would be put through the hoop in the room with them, and I was. Our junior high had a school newspaper already, but not happy with that. I found a teacher to back me, and I began publishing my own school newspaper. 200 copies per edition. In each one, I included an article on the township history, and I decided to use these to teach my class with. The day of my first class arrived, and I went into the classroom feeling very much the educator, but I was the one to very shortly get an education. A teacher, whose name I cannot remember, came in, gave me some sort of introduction, and said that he'd be back at the end of the hour to see how things had went. In retrospect, the teacher probably got a good laugh out of what had actually taken place. So he left the room, and I began to try to teach. There was talking and loud laughter, and I was getting angry. And the louder they got, the more angry I got. I could feel my face getting hot, and nothing I could do would stop them. Then one boy got up and opened the window as 2 other husky guys came up to me, picked me up, and carried me across the room. And I was so mad I couldn't even say anything. And it was like everything was going in slow motion. Then they lifted me up and promptly and unceremoniously tossed me out of the window, and the laughter was loud enough to shake the windows, or so it seemed. So I found myself lying on the ground, and to get back into the building, I had to walk past Mrs. Solderman's office. Now, if she caught me, there would be even more trouble ensuing. I got up and brushed off the dirt and grass, and attempting to ignore the kids who were taunting me there. And I walked up the steps, entered, and then came the office. And as I feared, she saw me and was quickly into the hall, I should say. She took me by the shoulder and pretty much showed me into the classroom, upon which silence descended with her presence. Now, I don't recall what she said to the class, but I ended up not teaching any of the scheduled classes. That's it, friends, for this one, but why not subscribe right now to the Dennis Morrison channel so you don't miss any of the new programs that I'm putting out, and there's quite a few a week that I do. So, as I said, take a moment and subscribe. And thank you for stopping by and taking a listen and a look. God bless.